I think it was just because I was following along with my parents. We were playing at the Knox Table Tennis Club within the Croydon and Districts Table Tennis Association in Melbourne, and both of my parents were on the committees of the Knox Table Tennis Club and the Croydon Association at different times over many years. So as soon as I left school as an 18-year-old, I joined the committee of Knox Table Tennis Club, and I was on that committee for several years, right up until I moved to Sydney in early '93. So that's when I first started, was as a local club committee person. But also along with that, Croydon started to run their Croydon Masters Open, which is quite a good and big tournament in Victoria, which is still running today. That started back in 1979, and my parents and Ron and Fran Keogh were involved in that along with some others. And so also when I finished school, I also joined that committee. So I was on the working committee of the Croydon Masters Open for 10 years before I moved up to Sydney. I also followed Fran Keogh to the Victorian Junior Tournament Committee and worked with her there doing those tournaments. Got involved in running the National Junior Championships at Albert Park in 1989. So a lot of my volunteer work has been centred around the running of tournaments. That's what I enjoy doing, what I'm okay at doing. And I still do that today. I still help out New South Wales with their state tournaments. I also was tournament director of the St George and Sutherland Shire Open for 15 years and was part of the group that reinvigorated that tournament after it had been laying dormant for probably 20 odd years. I still play weekly pennant with the St George and Sutherland Shire Table Tennis Association on a Tuesday night. I sometimes practice. That's not terribly often, but at Oatley Active we have some training on Sunday sometimes, and I'm encouraged strongly by one of the members there to join in, and I do that sometimes. But I also play monthly veterans pennant at Sydney Olympic Park, and also compete in New South Wales State Veterans tournaments, and I've also competed in the National Veterans Championships every year since becoming a veteran 20 years ago. They didn't have over 30s when I first started veterans, so I didn't get to play veterans when I was over 30, but joined as an over 40-year-old. So yes, I still play plenty of table tennis. I'm also currently running a tournament at my work. I've got 24 players playing in a singles competition at the moment, which I'm not playing in myself, but I'm coaching a few and I'm running the tournament, and everyone at work is just having a blast, and I'm enjoying their enjoyment, and I'm enjoying seeing them all improve as they have done over this last couple of months running the championship. Behind the scenes in the last couple of years, I've been working on quite a number of table tennis historical projects. That was started by Scott Houston coming up with the idea of recognising all of the players that had represented Australia and putting together their playing records. So Scott asked me if I was interested in helping with that project, which I was, and I haven't got my head out of the history books ever since. I think, again, working on the big tournaments, I was also involved I was on the working committee of the World Veterans Championships that were in Melbourne in 1994 at the Royal Exhibition Buildings. And to that point, it was the biggest World Veterans Championships that had been run to date. We had 1,800 participants. Now that doesn't sound very, very big anymore, because Rome next year are aiming for 6,000 participants. And I know I attended the one in Alicante in Spain in 2016, and they had 5,000. So 1,800 doesn't sound very much anymore. But at the time in 1994, it was the biggest one to date. And that was very well run, and there was a lot of work that went into it, many, many hours. But just to be part of that team, to have pulled off that event, that was certainly a highlight. And I worked on that with my father, so that was also satisfying and enjoyable. Getting involved in administration in my early years, my thanks go to people like my parents, Kay and Kevin Langridge, and also to Ron and Fran Keogh. But then in the later years, like actually at the Sydney Olympics, that's where I met Bev and Brian James. They both worked on the Olympics, and we've worked together on a number of things over the years now, and I've learned a lot from Bev and Brian in running tournaments and what have you. So I'd like to thank them for their friendship and their support, but also to thank them for the massive amount of work that they also still do for table tennis. And also just my local table tennis group and friends. You know, we do a lot of good things for table tennis together, and I really appreciate their friendship and support. And that's the people from the St George and Sutherland Shire Table Tennis Association. I thank all them for their friendship and support.